Hi, my name is Grace, and for my Learning Theory Part 1, I took a look at the constructivist learning theory. When looking through all my peers' Learning Theory Part 1, I came across Madison's about ecological systems theory. I decided to compare and contrast these two theories because I don't know a lot about the ecological systems theory, so I wanted to take a look at it and see how it compared to the constructivist theory. So first, the constructivist learning theory. This theory states the idea that learners actively construct knowledge through their own individual experiences. So this theory states that knowledge cannot simply be transmitted to the learner. The learner has to make their own meaning from their own experiences. In this theory, the learner plays a very active role in their learning. So the new knowledge is influenced by their prior knowledge. So they're using the knowledge that they already have to make informed decisions about the new knowledge that they're learning. Secondly, learning is an active, ongoing process. So the learner is constantly learning. It's ongoing, it's never ending. People are always learning with whatever they're doing. This theory allows participants to construct their own truths and experiences. Learners need to ask questions, explore, and reflect what they are doing and how their understanding is evolving. So teachers are facilitators of the knowledge. The knowledge is acquired through contextual learning, such as role-playing or case studies in the classroom. Knowledge is in the individual and cannot be transferred from a teacher's head to a student's. So next, the ecological systems theory. Uri Bronfenbrenner's models suggest that interactions between the individual and their environment, categorized into various systems, shape their development over time. So the development of a child is not only affected by factors in the child, but also by their surrounding environments, such as their family and surrounding society and world. So social, political, biological, and economic conditions can all affect the child. A child's education is not just composed of the school and a teacher. It includes parents, family, and their community. So he conceptualized 5 ecological systems that an individual interacts with. These 5 are microsystems, so the immediate environment, exosystems, the indirect environment, mesosystems, the connections, macrosystems, social and cultural values, and chronosystems, changes over time. So now I'm going to compare and contrast these two theories. So the first thing I noticed was that constructivist, that learning theory focuses on the student's construction of knowledge. So that theory is all about the student and how they're constructing their knowledge, whereas the ecological system has much more of an emphasis on the environment and its effect on the student's ability to learn. So it's looking at all of those outside factors rather than the actual student and their learning. Next, the constructivist learning theory focuses on the student using their prior knowledge to learn and develop. This is in contrast with the ecological system, which focuses on how the setting is affecting the student's learning. So it's not so much focused on what the student already knows and how they're going to use that information to develop. It's more about the settings, what's around the student, and how that's playing a role. Next, the one thing I noticed that was different about the two was the teacher's role in these frameworks. So on constructivist, the teacher's role is to facilitate and kind of help guide, but the framework is definitely more centered on the student. The ecological system, the teacher will affect the outcome of the student's learning. So even though both of these frameworks are pretty different, they do have a few overlapping similarities. So first, which is pretty typical to most educational frameworks, they're both centered on the learner. The framework is about the learner, and its main focus is the learner and how the learner is being influenced or impacted. Next, there are factors that influence the child's learning in both of these theories. So for the constructivist, it would be more so the prior knowledge that's influencing the child or the learner. And ecological, it would be like the setting, the people around them, all of those things. And lastly, they both have an emphasis of the role of the teacher. So in the constructivist, the teacher is the guide or the facilitator, and in the ecological, the teacher is one of the outside influences on the student. So they both have that emphasis on the teacher's role.